Hello, everybody. You are listening to Above the Tree Line podcast or watching it because some people are watching this. My name is Lauren Thurston. I am here with Austin Christian Fellowship Senior Pastor.
Easy for you to say.
Stumbled over that. Dr. Will
Hello,
Davis
Lauren. Hi,
Jr.
friends. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you.
As
always.
We've received this question a couple times, and this is in response to the episode that we aired a while back about alcohol. Is it okay for Christians to eat alcohol?
Only if you have to.
Drink alcohol.
Only if it's frozen.
And we kind of dove in a little bit to recreational marijuana use. So in response to that, we received this question. It says, medical use of marijuana has been legal in Texas since 2015. Genesis 1:29 states that God gave us every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth. My husband has 3 brain tumors, which left him with severe chronic nerve pain and a seizure disorder. We feel like his medicinal marijuana prescription is a much safer and healthy alternative to the narcotic medications that were damaging his body. However, we have family members that view this as sinful. Would love to know your thoughts on this.
Is there a question in there?
Yes. So first, when we talk about medicinal marijuana, I just want to put a few parameters out there.
Do.
So medicinal marijuana can be used for pain, PTSD, autism, anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, cancer, multiple sclerosis. Okay, so it's legal now, totally legal in 24 states. And then in other states, it is either decriminalized or medicinal marijuana is allowed. So here in Texas, where we live, marijuana is not legal. But we do have the Texas Compassionate Use Program, which allows Texans with a variety of conditions to use medicinal marijuana with less than 1% THC by weight. So those are kind of the parameters. We're in a state where it's not legal. We have the compassionate use for specific illnesses. And then it kind of looks like Texas is on the train, though, to having it legalized. Half the country is there. So what do we think? Is medicinal marijuana a sin? I mean, that's basically what this person wants to know.
So let's go to, we're going to be humble, and we're going to be probably gray. Okay, I'm probably not going to answer the question the way anybody is totally satisfied with. If it's legal, which it is, I don't have a problem with it. Now, not everything that's legal is a good idea, but I totally get the benefits. I've seen them of medical marijuana for somebody with cancer or tumors or seizures or other things. That's documented. The medical community prescribes it. Legislators seem to be coming around to it. I don't think it's an issue. I wouldn't call it sin. There are clearly uses of marijuana we can talk about that I think are sinful, or other drugs. But if someone is battling cancer and smoking a joint genuinely gives them relief from that's been prescribed by a doctor, personally, I don't have a problem with that, because you're not breaking any laws. You're under somebody's authority. It's prescribed, and it might actually bring you relief, and that is something that I think God can use. Can it be habit forming? Yes. Like opioids. They're legal.
Exactly.
I'm very soon going to be having surgery, and they're going to prescribe opioids for me. And I'll probably take 1 or 2 until I can have the pain go away. To me, that's in the same camp. It's legal, it's prescribed, but you don't want to let it bring you under its control. Sorry.
Right. So in the alcohol episode, we talked about a lot about sobriety. So alcohol, for example, is a legal substance that is permitted, like Christians are permitted to consume alcohol. However, we are not permitted to become drunk. So that begs the question, can you use marijuana if it is legal, even recreationally, as long as you are not intoxicated from it?
Yeah, I'm not, and I don't know where that line is. Because I wouldn't use marijuana if I go to Colorado a lot, and it's obviously legal there. I don't partake. I don't think it's good for my body. I don't think it's good for my brain cells, which are limited as they are because it destroys them. I don't have enough as it is, and it's habit forming, and I don't see there's any beneficial for me recreationally smoking or doing gummies or anything when I'm in Colorado, because I don't see how that glorifies and honors God. If it's helping me medicinally, that might be different. Now, I have bought THC cream in Estes Park that works on my broken body. It has no effect on me whatsoever, even making me sleepy. It doesn't even do that. It's got THC in it, not just CBD. it actually works on my back and my shoulder. But when I bring it to Texas, it's illegal here. I'm not going to try to sneak it in. I use it when I'm up there. But that's about as far as I'm willing to go because I don't know that the recreational side is good for my brain or good for my thought patterns if I'm on it. I think it's going to lead me to trouble. So I just don't
I
partake.
think lack of thought patterns
100,
is
yes,
usually
100%.
the issue.
No, I have no trouble being clear as it is. Let's not add to it.
So you mentioned cream. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know in certain states you're not supposed to, like in states where it's illegal and hemp has been legalized, it may not be legal to smoke hemp, but you can ingest the oils, you can ingest gummies, you can use creams. Do you think there's a difference? If there is THC, and we're going to dive into the Delta 8, Delta 9 variants in just a second, but if there is THC in this product, does it matter if you're smoking it, applying it topically, putting drops of oil under your tongue?
I'm going to defer to medical experts on that. I think if the purpose is to alter how you think and your reasoning ability, then I've got a problem with it. I don't think rubbing something on a bad back is going to do that.
Right. Well, I'm also thinking about the person who has a headache. Like, what would be the difference between using something with THC versus taking ibuprofen 800?
There may not be, but ibuprofen 800 is not going to make you addicted, and it's not going to make you high. And I think when you start, there's an old book we promoted here at ACF many times. Jerry Bridges wrote a book called The Pursuit of Holiness. And he gave you several criteria for what is good and not good, even if it's gray. And it's like, if it brings you under its control, or if it alters your behavior, then you might want to stay away from it. And to me, smoking marijuana can do that. Or taking gummies can do that. And I think I'm not going to be legalistic about it. But again, if the end result is going to alter me, and I don't have a good medical reason to do that, then I probably need to. For me, I'm going to shy away from it.
It almost seems like there's always a medical reason, though. You talk to anybody who has a medicinal marijuana prescription, it can be, I mean, there's like a million different things that doctors are prescribing this for in states. So it's almost, it feels like it's like, here's the cure-all for every ailment you're facing.
Let's go 20 years in the future and they legalize cocaine. Okay?
Do you think that's the same?
Everybody's doing cocaine. Let's just legalize it. We're giving out needles to drug addicts.
That's kind of a far cry, though, from marijuana.
We're giving out needles. You know what? To me, it's a drug.
Okay.
It's a drug. It can alter your behavior. And we're giving out needles in certain cities to help addicts at least inject in a safe way. I'm just not in that camp. I think the Bible talks about your body being God's temple. And you got to treat it as such. And so if I'm pouring a bunch of alcohol or drugs or anything into my body, it's harming my body and my mind and causing me to think or say or act in a way which alcohol can do, then I'm not honoring God with my temple. That's not my body, it's His. So I think we've got to really think about these things. And just because the state says it's legal doesn't mean it's a good idea. So I'm trying to walk a line and honor those people who really need it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Christians need to go running to the head shops now and going, woohoo, party just because it's legal. Our bodies belong to God. So you might want to submit your body to God, Romans 6 says, not for an instrument of unrighteousness, but as an instrument of righteousness. You might want to ask the Lord which it is.
I
can hear the phones ringing as we speak.
Buzzkill.
What a buzzkill.
So I wasn't thinking about this until you just said it, where we're talking about the effects that drugs have on the body. And I'm thinking about opiates. So my grandmother we've talked about this before, she's in pain a lot. And so she has a prescription for pain medication that's an ongoing thing, take every single day. And it can alter behavior. It's a pretty strong medicine, and it can damage the body, damage the liver. It can be habit forming. So I guess some people are saying, well, what's the difference between that drug and this plant? Why is that one okay? Yeah, take this every day, but this one is illegal.
Maybe the mood altering effects are more dramatic with marijuana, especially today's pot. I've told you this before. I smoked pot in junior high and maybe my freshman year of high school. And I don't know that if I either wasn't doing it right or it just wasn't strong, but it never really messed with me. I smelled really bad, basically. I reeked But I don't ever remember getting where I really was loaded, I don't think. And maybe I didn't know how to get it in my lungs, but I did inhale. We had one president say he didn't inhale. I inhaled.
Yeah.
I may not have inhaled well. But I think the pot today is different. And so it may be, it's
Well,
stronger.
there's also like a million different like breeds. I
So
don't know what you would
even
call
know.
it.
I wouldn't
but-
even know that. I just think you've got to all put it before God. And there's grace.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't, Jude, the 3rd verse says you do not use freedom as a means of sin and license.
Mm-hmm.
Licentiousness is taking grace to an extreme. And is God going to zap you if you smoke pot? No, but if you run with that, it might just devour you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can. And so I just think we got to be real careful as our culture gets more friendly with these things. It doesn't mean that we should as Christians.
Well, it's interesting because we talked about this in the alcohol episode. I have friends that will refuse to put even Tylenol in their body because of the effects it has on the body and how processed it is. But they are okay with THC products because
They're natural.
They're natural. And it's interesting because there's also this whole theory, like pharma in America is huge. This is a money-making
I'm shocked to hear that.
business. Like
Yes,
you
I
want
know.
money, that's the field to go into. So a lot of people are like, of course pharma doesn't want you to know about all these natural things, including different types of oils, even if they're not THC or CBD, like other types of essential oils that can be used to treat, like pharma doesn't want us to use these things. So do we think that I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but do we think that that's the reason that they're not promoting these things as a cure or medicinal or something you should take? They want you taking their pills.
Do I think that the big pharma lobbyists are more powerful than the guy growing out there in Oklahoma somewhere? Probably, but I don't know if that's what's behind it. To me, it doesn't change. The root question is my body's God's temple. And even natural things you put in your body can be bad for you. And so or habit forming. And so I just want to
Sugar.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to be, and I drink Coke Zero like it's going out of style, and that's
really bad
That's probably
for you.
worse for you than anything we're talking about. I probably need to repent of that. Talk about killing brain cells. If you can pour it on a battery post and remove the corrosion, it's probably not good for your body. Anyway, so I want to come back to us as Christ followers. Let's not let the government or lobbyists legalizing things dictate our morality. And suddenly now it's legal. Well, there's a lot of things going on in culture that are suddenly permissible that aren't biblical. I'm not saying this is unbiblical, but it doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
And so just be careful, be wise. Don't let something control you. Don't let it bring you into control. Don't let it change your mind. If I'm drinking whiskey and it alters my mind, I need to quit drinking whiskey. Because that's where God communicates with me. It's also where the devil can communicate.
Right.
So let's not give him a place. I'm just saying be careful and be cautious.
Okay. So
Here we go.
because we're in Texas,
Yes, ma'am.
everything you just said, noted. Okay. So let's talk about, like, we want to avoid intoxication. Okay. Let's talk about the current issue that is in the courts right now, which is primarily Delta 8 variant. So CBD, which is what you referenced earlier, is a constituent of cannabis, has very low amounts of THC. I think in Texas, you can have less than 0.3% in a legal CBD product. But now we have Delta 8, which is a psychoactive substance also produced by the cannabis plant. And it's legal. They're arguing right now, but because it's legal right now in Texas because the THC concentration qualifies as lawful marijuana extract. So you can go to any CBD store in the state of Texas, and the majority of those products are going to have Delta 8 in them right now. And they can give you that effect of like, it's a little loopier
Like a high.
than,
But
not in a way, like, I don't know to the extent how high it could actually make you. I don't know if you're not supposed to drive with it or what. I haven't actually experimented with that.
Thank you.
You'll be happy to
Good to know.
But it says here that it is a psychoactive substance produced by the cannabis plant, and it is legal in Texas at medicinal shops, and people are using that on, I guess, children, pets, whatever. Do we treat Delta 8 the same way we would treat marijuana?
I think you do. I think you treat anything that has potential to alter your behavior or your mind again, a prescription drug with a holiness filter. You want to go carefully and you want to go humbly, and so this is something that's legal in Texas, but it still might mess with you, especially if you have a system that's more prone to get really moved by a drug. You got to be really careful. So I think you treat it all the same. And legal or not legal doesn't really make a difference to me. Now, if it's not legal, we shouldn't break the law.
Right.
So it's illegal in Texas to smoke marijuana,
Right.
but if you go to ACL, you're going to get loaded with secondhand smoke.
Right.
Just because they're not enforcing that law doesn't mean we should all be out there smoking dope. It's illegal.
Yeah.
And we need to honor the laws of our government.
But it's also interesting because there's Christians all across the country. And for some Christians, it's breaking the law. And for other Christians, it's not. So Christians, you basically have different rules on how to govern yourself.
We live in Texas. We're under the authority of our governor and so so the same thing with COVID. I wasn't necessarily for shutting down the church when COVID hit, but the government said we needed to, so we did it.
Yeah.
Because we say the Bible says obey the laws of your government. And people left ACF because we did. Because we submitted to our authorities, people left ACF. So it's illegal in Texas to smoke dope. If you want to smoke, go to Colorado. But you're still under a higher authority, which is God. You got to
keep
make sure.
saying smoke, but I'm not sure. A lot of people don't
It
smoke.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's my reference because that's what I
Right.
did in high school.
Yes.
I've never had a gummy, so I can't tell you how good gummies are. I got a great story about gummies for you sometime. Anyway, it cured a guy's bad vision. Like he got hit in the eye with a tennis ball and he started eating gummies and he can see again.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Right.
If it's illegal, you got to honor your government.
Okay. So we're talking recreational. So back to medicinal.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Habit.
You're okay with people using this, at least what they can buy at the CBD shop. It has THC in it, but is it okay for them to use it medicinally?
As a pastor, as a father, as a grandfather, I got bigger fish to fry than somebody using medicinal marijuana that's been prescribed by a doctor and they have a brain tumor or cancer. Like, God bless them. Now, somebody else may feel differently about it. That's great. Write in and tell us about it.
Yeah.
But to me, we got bigger issues to worry about than that, especially if they have a genuine medical issue this is alleviating for them. But you don't want to produce another set of problems like an addiction
Right.
by taking the drugs. Just be careful.
Yeah.
I have no
and there's a
problem with
lot of studies that show that THC is not even as addictive as alcohol, which is
or watching Yellowstone.
watching Yellowstone.
Which could be very
But I
addicting
did.
in habit
So
form.
in 2019, DPS, the Department of Public Safety here in Texas, ordered officers not to arrest people, but to issue citations rather for misdemeanor marijuana possessions. So this used to be something that we were really cracking down on. We've taken our foot off the gas of trying to keep this out of people's hands, and now it's in people's hands in a medicinal format. So I do think that we are opening up the door for abuse.
Yeah, and
sure.
But that baggie of marijuana probably didn't come from a pharmacist somewhere. And you've got to think about the whole fentanyl. And I don't know about fentanyl, marijuana, but these drugs that we're buying these days, we're breaking the law to buy the drugs first. But nowadays, they're not what you think they are.
I've heard
You
people
just gotta be
say,
careful.
even youth that smoke weed, that they're worried now about fentanyl because they're like, I don't know if the weed that I'm getting is laced with fentanyl.
That's a genuine concern, and that's a really good reason to shy away from it.
But then at the other hand, there's a lady that used to take care of my daughter when she was a baby, and her children both had epilepsy, like consistent seizures all the time. And she would go to Colorado to get the drops. And these are little kids, but go to Colorado to get the drops to stop the seizures. And she was heartbroken. She's like, why can't I do this in my home state? Why do I have to take my babies and go to another state? And your heart kind of breaks for that. Because at the time I was like, whoa, like, don't talk to me about this. But if it's the thing that's going to stop seizures, I don't know. It's
I need to know more about that. Like, are there other options besides, the drops? They work. But if she genuinely has that kind of issue, move to Colorado.
yeah,
Relocate, but don't sneak drugs in.
right.
I just don't think you can do that as a Christian. As a Christian, you still got to honor the government. If you're having to sneak something in, you're breaking the law. And that is where Christians, I think, have to draw a line.
Right. Okay.
Send all emails to Lauren Thurston, please, at Austin Christian Fellowship.
Gosh, that's not even my email address here.
That's why I said it.
Okay. So I think we covered all of the things that I wanted to cover in this.
Holiness matters.
Holiness matters.
Holiness matters. So if it's altering me, if it's bringing me under my control,
Regardless if it's prescription,
it doesn't matter.
alcohol.
If it's altering me and it's habit forming, I got to if you have surgery and you got a week of pain, you have your knee replaced. The first time I had my shoulder repaired, I was on Vicodin for a month.
Oh, that's
It
so
was
bad for you.
terrible.
Yeah.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But I knew I got to be careful. But the pain was so bad from my shoulder, I was on a painkiller for a month, and I got off of it. But you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to be really careful, and make sure you're not letting a legalized drug dictate your morality. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's good.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Pastor.
So there.
So there we go.
So there.
We didn't
y'all be
land,
wise,
just
wise as serpents, innocent as doves. Please
make good choices.
Make good choices.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for sending in these questions. We got this one a couple times, so I know it's topic of conversation right now. But please continue to send us your questions, acfellowship.org/podcast, and we will look forward to seeing you next week.